Welcome back, ladies and gents. It is, of course, Astralis and Heroic here at DreamHack Masters. And boy, oh boy, this one's heating up. Heroic in the lead. Those Betway odds may have not been favorable at the start of this map, but they have certainly showed up on the CT side. 10 rounds to their name moving into the second half. If they win this pistol, Astralis might just get blown out the water. If it goes the other way, then the comeback can come in. It's a fast B play, though. Heroic don't want to wait us wondering, wait us leaving, or leave us waiting, rather, as they run into the bomb site.
Yeah, quick little stumble here and there, and Heroic, they are all low. These nades have found a lot of damage. They're closing the gap, but there's still more Astralis players here. Every time they kill one, there's even more. Zipnik's hiding in the smoke. It's chaos, and oh, he's going to go ahead and take down another 2v2 now. And Nico, with 1 point of health, one itty-bitty little point of health to his name. He's trapped over in dark. He is stuck at the back of this bomb site. This leaves a lot of the pressure of this round on a man like Borup. Now, this bomb is under Astralis control, but look at Borup, right? Like, no one say anything because it's a very long avant-garde play, but he's going on this big flank in through T-spawn. Now, they do find Nico. We kind of expected it. We kind of knew it was going to happen because we put all our hopes and dreams into this man right here. Let's see if he can deliver. He's come in through this CT wrap.
No, he's
taken the long way around, but ultimately, it is all for nothing. We put all our hopes and dreams on his shoulders, and he got crushed under the weight. So, yeah, ultimately not the ending that they were hoping for. Astralis 6 on the board as the pistol round does indeed go their way.
Yeah, and I mean, they were reading that right. They were ready for it, stacked inside of that B bomb site, and, you know, one step ahead of the arrival of Heroic. We'll be holding off for a moment as we've lost our feed, and we're hoping to get that back under control so we can actually see what's going on.
Don't worry, Hugo. We got
a little part of my fault
like
for not logging into the Go TV like I said I was going to, but you know, sometimes things.
We got the kill feed at like a bare minimum. So you know, right now, of course, maybe everyone else can see what's going on. So there's one of the problems. I hear sound. We have the vision back.
There we go.
What do you know? We don't even need the scoreboard for this. It's going to be just the lowdown for Astralis. We didn't miss much, to be fair. Like, if there ever was a round for us to not catch all the action on, it's probably this one.
And we still caught most of the action.
Even then.
So, luckily enough, it's all back on order. Astralis in control, and this is where you got to be a little bit worried if you're Heroic, right? At least I would be, knowing that Astralis now are not only the favored half, but the momentum with that pistol and anti-eco in their favor. Heroic are going to have to grind their way to a victory here. Pistols out for the short term, though, so not going to be one that Heroic are at least favored or expected to take, and Device doesn't let them do it either. He's pushed all the way down. I only just noticed that's Device's 4th kill in this map. He's having a bit of a slow one, and considering how good he was on train, that's quite the change, right? He almost 30 bombed that map, so you know, Device maybe warming up into the second half could be a big difference maker here for Astralis. Gets a kill in this round, is traded by Tessus' Deeg, or pistol rather, puts a weapon in his hands, but I mean, unarmored and low HP. Heroic walking into a meat grinder.
Yeah, and there's a reason they call it that. Kind of does what it says on the tin, doesn't it? They all get ground up on the top mid push. Cadian, he's just hanging out with a couple of buddies back here. Oh, it's stuck, man. Cadian.
Whoa!
That's disgusting, bro. You can't, like, work up a bond with it first. And then, what does that say about Cadian? Let's really character analysis / character assassination of a man like Cadian. He befriends the animal, he befriends the chicken, and then kills it in cold blood.
I don't know.
So, you know, if you're a guy like Tess says, I'm just saying, watch your back. That's all I'm saying. So, 8 on the board now for Astralis. And Heroic finally in with a rifle buy.
Yeah, what can they do with it, though? Can they find their first round of the board early, or will it be Astralis really streaking together some CT rounds? Yugi's having a great game here, considering he was the one struggling on train, right? 10 kills at the end of that, and well, now he's the man to look out for here for Astralis. Top of the server, in fact, so quite the turnaround, quite the pivot, and it's a good effect on that T side. Now Heroic, they're setting up in the apartments. The bomb is still bottom B, though, so could go anywhere, really. As often is the nature of Inferno, fast rotations available on the T side. If you get info, if you sit close B, you hear one too many few footsteps, you can call that rotate pretty quickly. So Heroic are waiting around in alt mid right now. A couple moving up banana for an execute. It's looking like a bit of a fake though. Device, which side does he decide to stick with? A molly in middle. Grenade gonna go through, doesn't do too much. This bomb's getting picked up. It's a fake on B. He's down alone there now. And Heroic going back to it. There we go. That 4-man A setup is gonna get pulled apart. And Astralis, with only 2 inside of this site, have got to put a stop to it. Smoke going down at the 30-second mark is going to buy them even more time. And now Heroic will be silent, which makes it even more obvious for Device, who does decide to rotate. And this is a great call for Astralis.
This molly on Zipex is huge as well. It buys even more time because Heroic have had to wait for this molly to go out, and now they try and push him with it. An array of smokes, an array of flashes going to come on through on the back. Yugi up here on the boost spot does get blinded. Device fares no better. And goodbye B site hold. Everyone falls in a matter of moments.
Wow.
Bomb plant found. Heroic, they take this B site by storm. They don't even lose a man.
Yeah, that was a weird one, right? Yugi gets flashed off and has to drop off the boost, but if only he knew that no one was looking at him, right? After he was there, 2 players walk past and he just kind of runs into the pool to trade Device where he gets the same fate. I don't even see how Zipex falls, but it was a quick affair. And I mean, despite Yugi having a great game, both Device and Zipex, 4 and 5 kills respectively, having them on your B bomb side right now, it is a bit of a liability. Astralis aren't winning the fights that we expect them to win, and Heroic are going to abuse that in their first rifle round to good effect. So 11 taken, that 3rd early rotated Device from long side did not work out. 5 alive for Heroic is exactly what they need to keep the money in the favor as well. No resets coming through for Astralis. They are going to look to buy back in. And here's what they got with it. 4 rifles, Magis taking an SMG to allow utility, but Device does still have that orb.
Yeah, it's a weird one that it's Zipex and Device struggling so much right now. I don't even really know what to make of that, right? Like, Device, okay, hasn't really had the orb at all. So that's something to bear in mind. You know, maybe now that he's bringing out on the CT side, we've really looked for him to be that much more present. So, you know, I think for me, this could be the turning point. This could be where he gets his head back in the game. That's the thing, right? Even if you think back to the road to Rio that just very, very recently came to an end, Device started that looking pretty slow. Wow. And then he warmed up into the swing of things and became a real talking point for Astralis.
Well, what's happening right now?
What do you know, Hugo? It's almost like Device, he started slow, and now he's become a real talking point for Astralis again. 2 kills in this round, and Device, another one. He goes from 4 to 7. At the end of play in this round, and a chance maybe even another. He's aggressing into the top of mid, and Device, welcome to the server. Long have we awaited you, long have we missed you, my friend. A stellar round from him on that AWP. He lays Heroic to bed.
He just has enough of it, Harry. Not only these flicks, which are great shots, but he pushes Banana and kills the bomb here. How? What? Why? On his own. If he dies there, the B-side gets lost and the round likely follows. But then, not only after dropping the bomb, he even pushes mid to kill the last. Great aggression, good confidence, and Device not letting a bad first half impact his long-term performance. So, Astralis back in the swing of things, and Device, dear oh dear, he's only just starting to come alive now, and that can't be a good sight for Heroic. They're going to lose Borup early, rather. He doesn't even get to play into this round. So Heroic move through the B smoke. They also take apartments very loud as they want to fake out this A bomb site. It's just going to be a full execute to avoid Device right now inside of B. Device's short side, he'll be a late rotate away from A, and he's getting pressure with utility anyway. That's going to keep 3 players on this site. It's down to Yugi and Zipex to hold down B.
Yugi forced off the angle, but this is where Zipex's molly and also the spray from this M4 have done a bit of damage. Lent a bit of a hand to Astralis. This rotation of Nico with the bomb is a long way away, and Cadian's trying to gimmick his way through the CT smoke, decides against it, and that is definitely a safe play from Cadian. Because if he went through that CT smoke, I don't know how to tell you this, but Magisk was on the other side. And well, in the server, him and Cadian, not good friends. Outside, probably. Device, holding top mid. Get pressured. Ooh, does remove the first man. That's Cadian biting the dust now. Still 2 players here at this A side of the map for Astralis, outside of Device as well. So these problems, you know, only just the tip of the iceberg for Heroic. Goes much deeper than that. And they're going to be backing on out. They're going to be saving Hugo. They don't want to see this round through to its conclusion.
I kind of saw that one coming after they left B, right? Because I'm just thinking, like, even if you're going to rotate, you know, what makes you think you're going to do any better on A when, you know, Astralis are already ready for that rotation and, yeah, have the AWP there. So an even harder site to hit. Device makes it so with 2 in the round. And, well, 2 out of the 3 kills that Astralis even need to force a save of Heroic and following a tactical pause. That's the first pause Heroic have used in this server, or at least in this map. And it's right when Astralis have pulled the comeback and made things happen. Borup again with great flash assists. Common occurrence. He was actually popping them over at B on the CT side, throwing them over the car to set Stown up a lot of the time. Here on the T side, you're going to have an even more appropriate field day to do the same thing. Now, Astralis, they're looking to 2-0 this series, Harry, and it might just happen. A comeback in the first map from Heroic, come back in the second from these Danes. They are only sitting 1 round behind. That round in the way of them is 2 MAC-10s and 3 AKs. So Astralis, a good position to be.
Oh, most definitely. And, oh, Device. Oh, where has he been? Oh, first half, he was absent, and now coming alive. Boy, do you feel his presence in this server. But look at Borup. Speaking of presence, this guy has got a lot of ground at long. Device is going to put him back in the earth of which he runs on. And now Dupreeh looking at short side. Testes has snuck past already, and Dupreeh is not aware of that. So he ends up getting blindsided. Device now alone in the site. This has gone from looking great to very worrisome. Device up close and helped out by Zipex. This round might be saved after all. Cadian trying to make a big old play, a big boy play here in the 1v3. Damage onto Zipex, not quite the kill, and backing up. Who into? Device. 3 kills in that round there as he continues this tear in the second half of play. Coming into it, he had 4 kills. Now he sits on 13, and he's almost at this point where he could start to look to top the charts for Astralis, going from being the guy last on the leaderboard to first in just a matter of rounds if he keeps on this trajectory.
It really hasn't been that long. It's been like 4 rounds, Harry, since he was bottom of the server. So yeah, Device back in full form, back in full force. Heroic holding Deegs, holding Tech 9s. This isn't a pretty buy for them, but it might be a good buy if Astralis have their way. Looking for a 12th in this one. But early rotates back off of B, right? Lots of utility, lots of grenades down Banana, and Astralis with a 3-man setup will take control. Zipex is now left here to spot. He has plenty of grenades to drop a smoke if he sees Heroic rush him. And that does seem to be the game plan in this round here. Heroic just defaulting, they give away Banana early. And I feel like, you know, you're coming in playing as an underdog, playing Astralis. Your go-to with Astralis have rifle rounds is, yeah, just give up Banana early. We'll retake it later because you know their utility is going to be incredible, the best, in fact. So let them throw their grenades, let them waste their money, and then go back to take this position later in the round.
Yeah, problem with Astralis, though, is that they're pretty frugal. You know, they don't want to risk throwing out too many nades if they're not going to get good value out of them. And Zipex, the accountant of this team, he's run the numbers and he said, this nade, that's worth it. $300, I bring a bunch of players low, and now they commit to the B play. Zipex, good for a couple before he gets dealt with, and now Magisk arriving on rotation, the rest of the squad falling in line behind, and Magisk decides, yeah, I'm not in the business of waiting around. I'm just going to push this one. I'm going to get it done. And, well, he certainly might have. Borup, this guy's surviving. Not able to close it out, you'd imagine. Astralis looking to add a 12th to the board.
Yeah, you want to know the fun fact, Harry? My Counter-Strike is an update, and so in order to replace the program feed with the GoTV, I have to update it. So we're waiting on that right now, as we no longer see program feed for the moment. This is day 1, of course, of DreamHack Masters Spring, so some technical issues I imagine will appear, but past this point, we will not let them happen. I mean, at this point, it's on me, and that's why I'm stalling out this this update as long as I can. As far as I'm aware, the features should still be going out to stream, though. So at least the game will continue, just maybe not the comment.
Yeah, you guys actually know more than us. So Twitch chat, it's kind of on you. What's happening? Talk me through it. You know, like how's it looking in the server right now? I want to know all the details. This is your time to shine. It really is. I'll go ahead. I'll open up the chat. We'll interact. We'll have a nice time. You guys can talk me through this one, because honestly, we don't really have the best view on this. Out. Seems like these tech problems are bound to continue. So we're just quickly hitting the lights in the studio. That's shout out to Hugo Byron.
Oh dear.
Hello, you're back.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, I'm starting to see things.
That's good. It's a good start. Okay, well, Harry, you know, I've got some good news here. At least my Counter-Strike is updated, so I can put us in the Go TV. But we're holding out right now for updates on our side of things.
Well, Hugo, we can at least take into account and kind of recap everything that's been going down in this game, because it feels like we've hit a bit of a problem here, bit of a roadblock. I've had a look at chat, by the way, to see what they was like, what kind of input they were having. Not very helpful, as it turns out. I was kind of relying on them to be the backbone of this broadcast, but apparently not.
I think that one's on you, Harry, more than anything. Well, you know, on the bright side, not that it feels too bright, but it doesn't look like the game is even continuing at this point, so I imagine we have a bit of a technical pause before we get back into things.
But as we were saying, it was the case that Heroic found themselves in the lead. They're probably feeling pretty good as well, Hugo, but now Astralis really back into the swing of things. And this is kind of having some like similar ties to that train game, right? Like with Astralis, not with the kind of best of. I mean, there is really the second half where the struggle started to show. So that's kind of where I'm drawing my parallels from, right? It's like Heroic looking real good, but then Astralis starts to warm up into the swing of things. And I think particularly for that, you're looking at a man like Device. This has kind of been like the story of Device as of late, right? These slow starts with a deep recovery, the longer the game goes on, and you know, he's been very dependable here towards this second half of play. Just waiting for this to
Yeah, okay, so for a bit of an update, what we're trying to work out, there's some problems in Sweden right now. There's some problems here as well. So technical issues on both sides of the pitch certainly doesn't help, but once that is sorted, of course, the game can continue. I imagine it's on pause, so remember, if you're watching, if you're in Twitch chat right now, don't worry, you're not missing any rounds, we hope. So we'll be coming back on camera just to greet you here in our studio in lovely Cologne, of course. It's getting a bit hot and sweaty, but not just in the server, here as well.
Yeah, you know, I mean, talk about, you know, like getting put on blast, right? Like, this is it, Hugo. We're out. We'll hug out to dry. And I kind of like it, honestly. It's a chance for us to, like, get to know each other a bit. So, like, Twitch chat, how you guys been doing? How's your day been?
What's your
I'm having a nice time. I don't know about you all. Hugo, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, man.
I'm just going to check in. Just to make sure
I mean, you know, that is important. That is important. Day one of DreamHack, so things are going pretty good. Harry, we've just finished a bit of a marathon of Counter-Strike over the last couple of months. I mean, it's only just getting started here in 2020. We're going to have a fair few online broadcasts, I can imagine, over the rest of the year. So, yeah, you know, more Counter-Strike. I'm glad that the global situation isn't stopping what we all love, which is good Counter-Strike.
Yeah, and I've seen, you know, that Twitch chat, they've kind of figured this out. Source 2 seems to be the problem. Yeah, that's probably it. Okay, right. So thank you all. Yeah, maybe that's the issue.
We'll get on that.
There's just too many sources. because, you know, like barbecue is probably the best.
I knew you were going to go that way. Trace has actually introduced us into a lot of nice sauces while we've been here in
He
Cologne.
really has.
My palate has really expanded in growth. I think this
Expanded in
growth. Yeah,
Yeah.
growth and expansion of said growth.
And the expansion of course, the first part autobiography by Hugo
Yeah.
Byron. That's available on various streaming platforms throughout the coming months. Can't wait for that. But yeah, no, man, we got to try buffalo sauce. That's
Yeah.
probably been like way up there, actually, like first place. Actually, you don't get
My
higher
favorite.
than that.
Yeah, that's actually the only one I've really tried, but that's enough. For me.
And that was enough. You were like,
I was like, yep,
you know
have that
what?
with every
I
meal
don't
now.
even need any
Right.
more condiments in my life.
Pour it in my cereal. Pour it in my
Well, I've got
breakfast.
some good news to maybe improve the flavor of the day.
Okay.
Maybe things are almost ready. I just heard someone talk in my ear, which is hopefully a good sign, you know. I would
me
love
in.
it to be a good sign.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see at least. So, yeah, I mean, still no update on our side of things. I'm still hoping the game isn't continuing. I imagine they would have just paused at the end of the round because, you know, I want to see where this is going, right? Heroic are putting up a fight. They're looking like they could potentially take a map off of Astralis, not just any map, but Inferno of all maps. This has been a go-to for Astralis. So if Heroic can take it, if they can bring us to a third here, you know, credit where credit is due. They at least put up a fight on train. And okay, if they get 2-0'd, you know, everything that we expected happened. So it's not a bad story, at least for Heroic. And to think this is only the opening game of the group as well. I mean, they've got a difficult group. That's one thing to say, right? Like Group A, it's really stacked and it's full of Danes, Harry. And that's, you never want to be in a group full of Danes.
Yeah, imagine how it feels to be G2, right? Like alongside all the Danemen. That's an interesting one. This is a very Danish group.
Yeah. I just had Trace in my ear as well, so I know we can we have him on the sidelines. Actually, I think we might be getting back into things soon, hopefully. So do stand by, ladies and gents. But yeah, just to go over the group, some of the teams that we have here over in EU. Obviously, we're running 3 BO3s a day for DreamHack Masters Spring. The last game of the day will be an NA matchup. That will often be, well, actually, that will only be brought to you by Connor and Launders, and we will be swapping that middle game with them as well. Oh, look who it is.
It's the boy of NA.
Ah.
Why have you just made that up? Can you hear me okay, fellas?
We can hear you great.
I can
James.
hear you
Not
great.
only in my headset, but also in the other room.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say we're pretty far from each other, so I was gonna say that there's a chance that you know you couldn't hear me. But albeit you guys are crushing it, I think we have a bit of a marathon game on our hands. Just kind of wanted to come in here and talk to the Twitch chat a little bit, maybe even talk to you guys a little bit, give you something to talk about, as if people haven't heard enough of the three of us talking simultaneously over the past 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, you know, now that that's come to an end, is it kind of sad for you, Hugo? Are you kind of sad that that's kind of dropped off?
I mean, it's not ended yet, Trace. We've still got somewhat of a trio dynamic here, and I think that's what's kept me going over these last few months, alongside the great Counter-Strike, of course. So, yeah, you know, as long as you're still here, you know, being annoying and saving us from these technical timeouts, you know, that's always going to be appreciated, Trace.
Trace,
Yes.
I actually couldn't be happier about you being gone from the duo. I think this has brought a lot of greatness back to Hugo and I again, and you're crushing it as the desk host.
Hey, let's bring your mic a little bit closer there, Harry, so I can catch everything that you are saying. Want to make sure you're not saying anything slippery like your friend Hugo there.
I would have personally just cut it off, but yeah, that works.
Hey, so in all seriousness, I actually wanted to just chime in with a little bit of that spice comment. You guys are talking about some of the flavors and condiments and stuff. I think I was glad to share and impose Tony Sashery's upon you, and meanwhile, I've learned that Nutella is actually not that bad. As
really?
Harry and I were kind of talking about yesterday. Well, I've just never really been one
like
for the sweets of the
Nutella?
chocolate. I would say I disliked it, but I didn't know its purposes. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's really been abused and used in this house, Trace. You know, you've got the full view of Nutella and where and what meal to use it in. The answer, of course, is every and any. So, yeah, that's really been the game plan.
Would you put your Nutella in your Monster Energy drink, though? Because that might actually be where I draw the line.
Yeah, maybe have them separate, Trace, maybe.
But if you're talking about like some Cholula in the Monster Energy now, maybe that's where things get exciting, Trace.
So yeah, also we've had a little bit of buffalo sauce around here. We've been on a little bit of a sauce
I've had
kick.
a lot of bit of buffalo sauce. I'm actually
I
made
think you had
up
it for
of
breakfast
80%
today.
buffalo sauce right now.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, yes. Hi, Twitch chat. This is This is not my TED Talk, but moreover, this is kind of like my my OnlyFans right here. We've got 2 sweepstakes winners on the line with me right now. We're going to begin to take calls live from the Twitch chat. Hugo, if you don't mind dropping your personal cell phone number into the Twitch chat.
Yeah, if you could do that right now.
That's at 99. No, do not do that at all. And no, thank you, Trace.
Oh,
I mean, they
well,
can
here,
have
I'll help you. I'll
if they
put
want.
it out
They're in
there.
Cologne and they want to cast a game. You just take my headset off. You know, you can cast with someone else. You know, if you want. But
yeah, and I think let's do this. Harry, Hugo, you guys you're doing a great job, but I think you need a little bit of water and a little bit of ranch on top of that buffalo sauce. So what we're going to do is cool things down here for just a minute. We're going to go to a quick break. We come back, we jump into this game, and we find out if Astralis can keep things going here or if it's Heroic that's going to run away with this map.
Well, Counter-Strike truly is a global offensive here. We got us in Germany. We had some problems just then at the studio in Sweden, who are, you know, manning most of this from behind the scenes. But what up now, Swedes? It's all fixed. We're ready to get back into the game. And Hugo, do you want to run us up to speed? Do you want to catch us up with what's been happening in the server? Because I don't know about you, I've forgotten entirely.
Well, I can give you a little go. Heroic, they went on a 10-5 CT half. This is a bit of a slow T side for them with only 1 round, and Astralis have really warmed up into things with 5 in a row. Device went from bottom of the board to top, or not top, but pretty high up, at least, in just 5 rounds' time. And he's had a real recovery off this AWP. A risky move by Zipex with the smoke. He gets punished. Yugi is still here as well, grabbing the AK and getting out of there alive. Majesty's come for support off of a rotation. It will keep 2 inside of B, but that might tempt Heroic out, if anything. Now they know that A site has the same fate, and so that they can go really anywhere they want. Look for aggression, spamming apps. Warp is checking out mid with that, and Heroic are making sure that Astralis aren't getting too confident, aren't getting too comfortable. This could be Heroic's second round found on the T side as they group up towards middle with the bomb. Stalin trying to sell the B-fake on his own, but he will be coming back to join the troops.
Oh dear, Heroic set up in the top of mid and in a very, very big way as well. Everyone here for the Heroic squad. And if you want to look at someone who has to deliver some Heroics, well, for that, we're going to be looking at Mr. Dupreeh. Now, I hope everyone has thanked Mr. Dupreeh today, because if they haven't, he might not have the energy to have this big play from Graveyard that he so desperately needs. So let's see. Has everyone shown him enough gratitude? Dupreeh dodging the shot of the AWP, and he does manage to deal with Testas. Now sprinting through the long smoke is going to be the other 3 for Heroic. They deal with the man inside of the site. And a bomb plot now found. 3 on 4 in the retake. Do Astralis want to give this one a go?
What a shot. Device knocks Borup out of the round, jumping across, and now the retake's on. Kit's available. Molotov in the site pushes down to the back, and Magis is going to flash his fight. He goes above, and he will go down. Down, taking some damage. Nico the same, but Cadian's already killed Yugi on the corner, putting Device in a clutch that he will not attempt. A 1-on-3, and if only he knew how low all of these players were. All a one-shot from that Deagle in the chest. So Device will miss out on that opportunity, but he will save the AWP. Luckily, Astralis had money anyway, so he definitely could have gone for that one, but he makes the right call. He makes the safe call, and he gives Heroic 12. It's a big round for Heroic, who have only found 2 in this T side. Astralis are looking for a quick reset here in the follow-up as well. They don't want Heroic to start to streak back into this game as Astralis look to come alive as well.
And we're all tied up once again. We're actually not. I can't read. That is a problem.
We're a round down.
We are almost all tied up. Heroic just 1 away from doing exactly what I said. And that there is called planning for the future. But maybe that's not a future that we're going to be a part of. Device does get the first kill. Dupreeh surfs his way down on the back of his shiny M4 and now has this position down in the pit. Now for Heroic, they'd lost a man early on. This might send their game plan out of the window here. Beginning around 26 and already having to mix things up. They're going to try and get into alt mid. They're going to try and take the apartments. Now, Banana is completely open during all of this time. And with no one floating around to keep an eye on it, I feel like this kind of has to be an A play for Heroic. You know, usually if you are thinking about going back, you want to be holding on to this banana control. You want to be denying this aggression down throughout B. And so the fact that they've discounted it entirely, this has almost got to be an apps drop here from Heroic. They are committed. They are going for it. And Testa's down in the pit, the first man in.
What?
And also the first to fall, but maybe the first of many as one by one, Heroic, they get churned up. And this might be a flawless round for Astralis.
How the hell did Dupreeh get 2 kills there? He was full flash. That grenade will kill him. But he was full white as they came at apps. He hides in the pit. He doesn't even take a blind shot. And then he just swings off of the pit and gets 2 frags. Massive effort from Dupreeh in that position. And he's going to save Astralis as Heroic go for that apps execute. 14-12 now. Money for Heroic is brought into question, but they've got to buy. They've got to put everything into this. They want to stop this map and match point happening here for Astralis as they sit just 2 rounds away from taking a 2-0 victory. And to think that, you know, Heroic, they had so much control in this map as well, but even in the series, pulling back the previous one to such a competitive affair. But it all might come to a close here. It all might be in vain for Heroic. Beggars can indeed not be choosers. And right now, Heroic are begging Astralis to stop.
Yeah, but will they find any respite from Astralis? That's the question. Device pushing down. The lip of Banana does have Yugi in tow if needed.
Nice.
And with Cadian already holding the angle, that is nothing more than a man advantage for Heroic. Still 2 players here at B, and that smoke from Heroic is going to do a good job of maintaining that for Astralis. Magisk is even looking like he wants to try and play this arc, but actually goes past it and swings on out. Borup able to find him, and this A site once again falls to Dupreeh. A lot to ask of this man, and he's not able to answer the call. The bomb will go down. It will be a save for Astralis on Zipex and Yugi. And so 13 rounds now on the board for Heroic.
Yeah, Astralis craving information in that round, right? They've done that a couple of times in this CT side. One just 2 rounds ago where Zipex pushes through a car molly and gets picked up, or Device, he wants a fight and he peers past the logs with no flashbang, and Cadian just takes him down with the AWP on top of it. So Heroic very ready for that CT aggression that Astralis try and bestow upon them. Does put Heroic at 13. Of course, we already said Astralis have so much money. For the short term, things aren't a problem. So they can afford to save these 2 guns and buy up in the next round. They will have everything they need and more. But Heroic, that's a lifeline. That's a saving grace. They had an SMG in this round. They were up against 14, and they get out with 5 alive. Now Heroic will be able to continue to buy until round 30. Terrorists win. One bonus is certainly nice as well. So Astralis get away with these guns. The AWP hopefully comes back in for Device. Where does it go? Does it want to continue to take B picks? Because the only weakness in this CT side, the only problem for Astralis has been rounds where they lose B or they lose a pick early up B. Every other round they do well. Even rounds where they play passive B and they don't give Heroic that kill. When they give Heroic that kill, Heroic seem to be able to convert the 5 and 4 with a very slow mid round. And that's a nice play, right? They split Astralis 2-2 and they just execute into the 4-1-2. The game plan here. Deep smoke for Astralis. They don't want to lose players in Banana once again. Device has the AWP on long side, Molly's in middle, and Astralis will rotate Magisk back early, who threw utility down B. He's left with only a flashbang, but often found in the pit supporting. That's not really the end of the world. This time he plays bait switch with Device on long. Heroic going back towards a late B take right now, as they often have been, considering how good this Banana utility is for Astralis. Heroic will be able to move up with no fight from the CT side.
Ooh, bit of an exchange, and Borup is going to come out ahead. Does take a man down through the smoke. Now, Heroic, they've been good in these man advantage scenarios. They've usually been able to find success on the back of them. And so in this round now, they go back towards B. 2 players here. It's Yugi and Zipex, and Zipex is going to get boosted on up for this CT position. Now the utility comes in, but the timing on this boost is great. And Zipex immediately reaps the reward, puts it back in the advantage of Astralis. Very well timed from him and Yugi at the B site of play. And now for Astralis, you're 4 on 3. You've got utility, and Zipnix is still finding kills through the smoke.
Oh.
Hello! He does try and go in. Nice trades onto Cadian, and this is going to leave Tessez in a 1v3. He's trapped in pool, looking for a way out, and he thinks he might find it here at the coffins. There's only one man here to swing wide, and Yugi has that kill dead to rights. It's match, and now series point here, lying with Astralis, 15-13. But only 2 away, Heroic, overtime. Not inconceivable at this point.
Yeah, what a boost up from Yugi as well. Puts Zipex above, and he just mows down 2 players as they come in. He even kills a 3rd through the smoke and continues to push. He does die to Cadian, but that kill just leaves Cadian in the open, and Device trades it immediately. Astralis, a perfect retake, everything going to plan, and 15-13, just 1 round and 2 chances to get it. Heroic have buys, or at least 1 here. Without a bomb plant, they'll be left lacking for what could be round number 30. I mean, sorry, if they lose here, they die, rather. They lose the series, rather. But they don't take a clean round, is what I meant. Then they could be lacking for the last. Right now, though, they're just thinking about a round. Forget the cleanness of it. Tessez opening up in mid. It's going to be a quick drop-off of apartments for Device, but Magis still sits here, and he'll need to, because Nico's coming in from that position. Heroic up on long with 2. They've smoked off Deep Arch. They're fighting for CT right now. Yugi's trying to cover that with Zipex, and he'll rotate back towards B as Zip takes these fights. He's dropped 1. The trade is in. Yugi might need to reconsider, but instead, the bomb's left A, and that might have been heard. Device is pushed short. He hears the footsteps. He knows they're running back, and Yugi has to be ready on the B bomb site.
Ooh, they're going to try and catch him, and Device plays it to perfection. But now we look towards Yugi. Now we look to the new boy on the block for Astralis to try and hold this B site, and he is not able to do so. Neither is Device in rotation. Magis 1v3 to deny a 14th round to Heroic, and he's not even attempting it. He wants to hold on to the AWP. With this, at least, they're going to be able to bring one into the final round of play. And once again, similar to Train, we're at this point where it either goes to overtime or it ends here in round number 30. Now, Train, obviously, it did head into OT. We saw Astralis long it out and pick it up there. But they don't want the same thing to be happening here on their map pick of Inferno. Not when they were the team to reach match and series point first. This is Heroic grinding back into the game, whereas Train was very much the other way around.
And to think that, you know, despite it being this way in this half, the first half was the complete opposite. It was the inverse. It was Heroic taking a 10-5. So, you know, credit to Astralis for pulling this back. But now Heroic, they're the ones who have to get just 1 round to at least, you know, wipe the sweat off their brow and start the timer again. Go into OT, where everything goes out the window. What's the buy? What's it looking like? Everyone seemingly armed well. We only have 1 kit for Astralis, but as is tradition, Inferno retakes rarely happen anyway. Cadian's posted towards B. Again, Astralis throw that utility, and Heroic want nothing to do with it. They've not lost anyone early B because they have not tried it, and for good reason. The AWP for Devices once again on the site. We've got an early rotate from Magisk as well, who's thrown utility. He's still got a grenade for middle. That will do a bit of damage. Pretty good stuff. Heroic want to take top mid at a bare minimum with Stown holding onto the banana. They have at least been given that much control. Magis letting them get away with it, though. He's going to peek on the long corner and gets away with a big couple of kills. Magis finding 2, going to flash his teammates up the short side as well, but he's actually been orbed on the repeat. Cadian gets control along, and now Astralis need to dedicate a player to that position. You can see Zipex coming off of B to try and support Spawn. Now, that does mean Yugi can't afford to die inside of the B site. He's playing very safe with his utility and needs to probably get some of that down, because Stown could contact play into this site. Zipex has now got to come back and watch his position, and that means Device is split up from Dupreeh on A, where the bomb is heading. Or not. Yeah,
it's all a little bit unknown right now. It's very much hinging on the information that these guys are able to get, and they will try and hit B. Zipex playing in the pool, and there is a man on the other side of this smoke. Now 3 men, to be exact, and that might be too many men. Zipnik's going to try and hold the line. Yugi in the back of the site. This Molotov that Yugi still possesses could be huge in buying time here. And he's going to hopefully throw that in now. Follows up with a nade first. Zipnix with the spray down. And they get stopped in their tracks. The molly comes in. Cadian, does he manage anything here? He gets the first, runs on in. And to his demise, Astralis, they solidify the victory here on Inferno. They take this series 2-0. And for a Yugi debut, they're probably feeling pretty good right about now.
Yeah, that was a great game from Yugi, right? Like, he had a slow start on train. Yeah, he gets 9, 10 kills there. It's not looking great, but Inferno, man, he was at the top of the scoreboard for the longest time for Astralis, especially in that first half where things weren't going well. He's finding the kills that they needed. And yeah, okay, a couple of whiff rounds on that B bomb site on defense, but by and large, he holds his own. He sets up his team well. Yugi is not here to be the star, but he is fitting into this team very well. And to the stars they go. A victory to open up DreamHack Masters. We do have one more best of 3 coming up in just a minute. It will be G2 North, so hang around for that. But first a break, and then the analyst desk. We'll see you in a sec.
Well, there you have it, the conclusion of our first series. Astralis beating up on Heroic in 2 maps. 19-16, we get overtime out of the first one, and then full 30 rounds out of the second one of Inferno. Things to get a little bit more hairy there on the side of Inferno, it seems. However, Astralis muscle up and they power through. Welcome back, everybody, to the DreamHack Masters Spring 2020. My name is Trace, and alongside of me are 2 beautiful, beautiful young people, of course, Potter and Blag. Now, guys, you guys might have grown a little older as that series went along, but mainly because everybody had their eyes on Yugi. What do we think?
He looked good. He looked very good on that map, right? I think the first half, when it was Heroic kind of stomping all over Astralis, he was the one shining light, the rainbow in the dark, some people might say, Trace. And it's good signs for them. It was, sorry?
Said the rainbow in the dark.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Oh, it's sorry, I didn't know it was a song. I was just thinking of like how rainbows in the dark. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
All right, yeah. Potter, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Yugi did fantastic. And I mean, even just the swap on the first map on train, I believe in the first half, Yugi had 1 kill on that T side of things. And even on this Inferno device, in the entirety of the T side of Inferno, he had 1 kill. Then switching over to the CT side, he went 18-5 in that entire second half. He was the factor that allowed Astralis to start rallying points on the board and start stringing some points together, because on that CT side of things, we know how important that economy is. And so, yeah, Device was an instrumental part in allowing Astralis to actually close out this game, because it was neck and neck at one point. Heroic were up 9-2 at one point. So it was certainly all in favor of Heroic to actually be able to win this map. But unfortunately, they just didn't have enough.
I also feel like for...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to finish a quick thought there. For Device, I think he personified what he said in the interview, where it's like, we're going to be going for a lot of individual plays. There's a 1 round where he got 2 kills towards Banana with the AWP. He's alone. There's no one to beat bombs. He pushes down towards T-slope, gets a kill, continues ahead, and gets the final kill of 4K. That's a very uncharacteristic Astralis play. I mean, they don't usually do that. They don't go for the high-risk plays. And it kind of goes to show that they were pushed to showcase what they have firepower-wise and play a different style of Counter-Strike than what we're used to seeing from this particular Danish side. And I think that's cool. It goes to show that they don't just have to play one style of CS to be successful. They can also just pop off and win games just off the back of these individually very gifted players.
Yeah, and if you think about depth charts, right? I mean, if you think about traditional sports or every sense of the word, when they have depth charts, usually we just look at it and say, okay, well, then there's just a ton of players on the lineup and they can just kind of slot in anywhere. It doesn't really work like that in traditional sports, and it damn sure doesn't work like that here with Counter-Strike. So if you're Yugi and you walk in the door, you're like, oh, well, I guess I got to figure out what's going on around here. And ultimately, your teammates are going to help you up to speed. Now, there's one teammate I wish I had. Never had him as a teammate, but his name is Hunden. And he is God Hunden to you. So we're going to go ahead and start to bring him in, I do believe. I heard that correctly. And on that note, he should be appearing any second. There he is.
Oh.
That was him. Yeah, I was just waiting on him to call. Go ahead. This is the DreamHack Masters 2020. How can we help you? Oh. Hello, Hunden.
How are you?
Check your microphone a little bit. I think it's a little far.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. God Hunden.
Good job.
All bow down to thee. Now, first and foremost, commiserations. I know that this one wasn't necessarily that easy for Heroic by any stretch, but are you proud of the fight that your boys put up in the server today?
Yeah, of course. I think we did a good fight today, and to be honest, I think we should have won train at least. When we got to the T side on Inferno, I think everything fell apart. We tried to fight back, but they were too strong on Inferno, to be honest.
I have a quick question for you, Hunden. What do you feel went wrong on the T side of train? I mean, your CD side was great, but it felt like at certain points on the first half, you seemed to kind of run out of ideas, running out of time. Were Astralis being extra aggressive compared to what you would expect from them?
No, not really. I think we missed a few duels when they took T mid, and that punished us too hard to make some good mid-round calls and stuff like that. I think we got a few good openings on Ivy especially, and we knew how Supnix was playing B, so I think we got caught off in T mid today, and that's why we couldn't make the good mid-round calls.
Now, Hunden, I know that when Borup was on your old team Tricked, he was just popping off. He was a young star in the making. And when he joined Heroic, he's been actually quiet in all of 2019 and even in the beginning of 2020. But today, he was popping off. Was there anything special or specific that you helped him individually on to kind of get him more involved within that server? Or is he just having a really good day?
I think he started to play good when I came back to him as a coach. I think he needed some kind of confidence, and I'm pretty good at giving my players a lot of confidence. So I think he's a new Bob. He's not the heroic Bob anymore, and that's good to see, especially today.
So I guess, well, hold on. I hate to cut you off.
That's fine.
I'm going to let you finish
on.
it. I'm going to let you finish. But first, I just want to say, God Hunden, what has it been like making this transition from being a player up to now? Now you get to see a stack of your own facing against one of the world's best, albeit Danish, blah, 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 blah. But I kind of want to know about your personal story.
I think it was pretty easy to go from player to coach. I think I have been a playing coach for so long where like I'm teaching my players how to do things and stuff like that. So I don't miss playing at all. I think I have played like 3 games the past 2 months or something like that. So I don't miss the game at all. And like I like to be this guy where I can just focus on make my team better all the time and don't shoot people, because I was not good at that. That's for sure.
Well, hold on now. You shouldn't be putting words into our mouths. We'll be the ones up here deciding. We'll look over the numbers. We'll crunch them and see if that happens to be true. But it seems like a big responsibility. You know, you are essentially in charge of this heroic project. How much say do you have in sort of roster moves and anything that goes on from an administrative side?
I have a lot to say. I think it's my team together with Kadian, and we make every single change and stuff on this team. So we are the leaders together, and we control how we want the things to go on this team now.
Yeah, which is it's a cool thing, and I think it should be that way. It should be that top-down sort of look onto the to the roster itself. Look, man, before we get you out of here, is there anything that you want to say out there to all the Hunden fans across the world, all 100 million of them, even at that?
I just hope they will support Heroic now, and we will make it back to top 20 at some point sooner or later this year, I guess.
Cool. We'll be on our best behavior, as so will you. But we're going to be looking out for it. We're going to make sure. Thank you so much for your time, Hunden. We're going to continue the show here if you don't mind. See you later.
See ya.
Cool. So, what did you guys take from that? And really, when I say you guys, I'm looking directly at you again, Christine. I want to know what it is that you learned.
I mean, I learned that, you know, Hunden, he's been God Hunden for quite some time. We know exactly how much game sense this man has in his brain. And I like the fact that he just straight up said, this is my team, and this is a little bit of Kadian's team as well. So whatever I say goes, and he understands exactly how to develop his players, exactly how to develop his team to be better. And I like that. I'm very much excited to see where Heroic ends up towards the end of 2020.
You know, interestingly enough, Blay, if you think about that and just looking at esports teams, Counter-Strike teams even, how often has it been the case where like the players control the lineup and there's some sort of like weird stabby stuff going on around there?
Yeah, it does happen quite often, right? And I do believe over the past few years, it's slowly starting to change. You want to have some of the more experienced, like the most obvious one being obviously Zonic, right, controlling Astralis, and we do have that being the case in many other teams as well. And I feel that removes. See, when you're in the server, when you're part of the team, you kind of tend to get a little bit more tunnel vision. You don't really see the overall holistic picture. And having someone like Hunden, who's been around the scene for a while, and like you said as well, Trace, and you mentioned it as well, Potter. he knows how to develop talent. You're talking players like Tessus, like Borup, they have the potential. We know that, but they haven't really exploded, so to speak. And I feel like with someone like him having complete reign, and with someone like Cadian who's been around the block for quite a number of times, I think it's great. If I'm going to trust someone with the reins of my horse, it's God Hunden. I don't have a horse stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, if I'm God Hunden, I don't really want to be called a horse either, but I suppose, you know, that's between you and him, and I can't really do anything to change that now that you've thrown it out there, Bless. So not a big deal, all things considered. An even bigger deal would be having that opportunity to talk to Astralis, so hopefully that does present itself here in the very near future. Otherwise, we could tease the next matchup, which is something I think you could do pretty well, Bless. What do you think?
Oh, I'm excited. The last time these two teams faced wasn't a road to Rio, just I think a week or so back. And it was G2 versus North. And North, of course, had the kryptonite, you know, had a coach playing for them. And they managed to pull off the reverse sweep, which was quite incredible. Taking nothing away from Jumpy, I think he was incredible to stand in. He's older than all of us, by the way, Trace. He's a true boomer. And yet he was holding his own against, you know, the lads like Nico's cousin and all those guys. So it's going to be a rematch where G2 would be looking to prove that, hey, we can beat them. But for North, they've been looking good. I want to see what they have in store for us here. They don't have Kirby. It's unfortunate. Jumpy's not playing. They, in fact, have a stand-in who's going to be playing today. And we're going to be seeing the first game live. You do hear a few things in my ear here, but...
No, that was just you, man. No one else heard that except
all right. Let's go.
So maybe get your headset checked, or maybe even your head. Who knows? Just check it all out and make sure everything's working there. I also did hear some things, and I'm not entirely sure that means that anyone's coming our way. However, we are kind of left out here. But this being the beginning of the tournament, kind of what we expected. Not really that Astralis would be taken to the brink and then some, but perhaps Astralis wins, and all it, you know, even if you are just replacing one player in the lineup, it shouldn't really negate what that team is and who they are, rather.
I think what you said is correct, but with a grain of salt, just because in this particular instance, it's the in-game leader, right? So it's not just any one player, and it is a little more challenging to just slot a player into the in-game leadership role. We've seen it with ENCE. We've seen it on multiple occasions. So, you know, I am impressed that Astralis have turned things around in such a short amount of time. I'm not sure exactly how much practice they put in with Yugi into the lineup, but it seems like, you know, Yugi, he's a guy with a lot to prove actually on his plate. So, I mean, he certainly lived up to those expectations today, but I'm not really sure where to set the bar quite yet with him, just because in the past we did discuss he had such a poor performance on Optic and North.
And it is kind of weird, too, if you think about just his performance, right? He's got to worry about, oh, the whole community's watching me play for Astralis, when in the reality is he's watching out for himself playing with them in Astralis, because they're adding more and more people, right? So it's kind of like, oh, you either play well or you go wait. Oh, hold on. I'm so sorry. I'll turn this on. Hello? Oh, would you look at that? Sorry, man. I thought it was my own phone for a change. Dupreeh on the line with us for the DreamHack Masters. Congratulations. Stressful day in the office, Dupreeh, was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a struggle. I mean, obviously changing a player can be a little bit of a struggle, but I think we did really well. We had a really good talk about how we wanted to play and how he was going to fit into players' positions, and maybe change the overall idea of the team a little bit. It was really close, but I think it could have gone either way. So I'm just really happy that we managed to win these games. And it was a little bit different from playing the previous versions of the games we've already been through. So having a close series was a little bit different for us.
And for us, sorry, Black.
Go ahead, Trace. Go ahead.
For us, we look at this and we sit here and we say, okay, well, here comes Yugi. Yugi's playing in the server. Glaive's not going to be there. What was one of the toughest parts about today and just how it kind of manifested into joining this game itself?
I think the toughest thing of today was probably hearing another voice on TeamSpeak and not having the pattern that like Glaive was usually doing and the things that he was usually doing, because, you know, when you play together for as long as we have in Astralis, you just get so used to what your team is. And in some of the positions I come together play, and all of a sudden I have a new player standing beside me. He has another way to react in certain situations. And I think that was probably the hardest thing to adapt to today. But overall, I think we did really great. And I mean, beating Heroic with a guy that we haven't put that much time in with yet is just, yeah, it was just really great.
How much of a balance do you have to strike between making him feel comfortable and switching up your system, right? Like you don't want to switch it up completely, obviously. At the same time, you want to slot him in where he feels fine. So where do you kind of draw the line, or where do you have the balance?
I think the most important thing when it comes to adding Yugi to the roster and playing with him right now is that we make sure that he's as comfortable as you can get him in situations. At the same time, it's also about not changing too much in the overall system for the rest of the players, because if we change a lot just to adapt to Yugi, it might change a lot of things for us. So it's about finding the right balance, and we've been very vocal about telling Yugi that he needs to be very honest about certain things, like does he like to do this or this, and how does he like to play? Because if we just put him in a position that Lucas or Glaive was always playing, then it can be really, really tough in terms of putting up the results we want to. So I think it's about finding the right balance, and obviously we're not there yet, but we're still working hard on it. So I'm just looking up for the challenge, to be honest.
I wanted to ask you, Dupreeh, about Device. Having a teammate like Device, who's always touted as the #1 player in the world, whether that be a sniper or rifler, any role player within a team, when he's going 1 in 12, I believe it was, in the entirety of the first half, what is his comms like towards the team? Is he relaying information like, hey guys, I'm not hitting my shots, we have to make adjustments? Or is it just game plan as usual, he's eventually going to get to hit his peak? How is the atmosphere within the team?
So if we take this game as an example, Nikolai had a really bad T-side on Inferno, and he was very vocal about it. I mean, he wasn't angry or anything, but he just commented saying like, I'm just having a really unlucky side right now. I can't really hit my shots, and I keep making the wrong decisions. And that's what happened as a star player as well. The thing star player is the way that he managed to come back at T side, hitting I don't know how many frags down the middle with the AWP, and just continuing to work for the team. And that's also one of the things that we're good in Astralis. Like if we have a really bad side, it's just about helping your team as much as possible in terms of communicating and being there for your team, and maybe sacrificing a little bit to make room for other players. And I think that was what happened today, but I was just really impressed with the way that he showed up on the T side, because it was like he just had a bad side on the T side and he just completely forgot and totally mentally reset. Whereas a lot of other players probably been like, oh, I've been playing so bad and people think I'm bad, which is amazing just that he managed to pull that one off.
So, first of all, we want to give a big shout out to Glaive, and obviously the decisions that he's taken, or, however that all played out, that's all his business. I just want to say hats off to him for, putting that all out there, and for us to sort of take that in is very special. For you, is there anything that you would like to say to Astralis fans during this delicate time, during this kind of almost fragile time for Astralis?
So, I mean, Glaive has done a tremendous amount of work for us the last 12 months. He's been playing, even though he's been a little bit off. But, I mean, he's been putting in the effort for the team, and I think we owe him everything. Showing that we now are in a situation where we have to play with another player. Some people might be considering that it's going to be bad for us, and some people might think that we're going to produce worse results. And obviously in the beginning it is going to be a little bit tougher. We're going to have to look at how well we can prepare with Yugi and just make everything work in this new system. But overall, I'm just really incredibly happy about the support that we get from everyone, and just seeing all the people that still support us, even though we have changed the play. Still Astralis, and we're still here to win, so who cares?
I like that. That's a very strong send-off. Thank you so much for your time, Dupreeh. We will see you a little bit later. Cool. So we got Dupreeh out of there almost as fast as we got him in here, but we learned a few things along the way, which is something that is always a good feeling for you, Bled and Potter. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I really like the fact that he was very clear as to how he's, they're dealing with, Glaive stepping out. I just want to touch on one thing Potter mentioned, though, like Glaive not being a part of the lineup right now would lead to the calling issues. But bear in mind, I think this is a perfect time for someone like Yugi to step in, because it's online Counter-Strike right now, at least for the foreseeable future. And that means Zonic could step into the calling shoes if things go a little awry. Magist is having a little bit of a tough time. Dupreeh and Device aren't able to give that good an input. Zonic just takes over. Papa Bear comes in and he just takes care of Yugi, and it all works out. You okay, Trace?
Yeah, sorry, I just not really getting the proper. Oh, okay, yeah. So Potter took a picture of something once upon a time. She used print screen. I'm kidding. Potter, what do we got?
We've got a highlight. I just wanted to take us back to Inferno here, and we're going to be highlighting Borup. This was just a spectacular round on an individual level. Of course, this is an eco round, but sometimes the discipline in younger players, it lacks in these type of moments. But Borup, this is exactly the type of personality I love to see coming out of him. He's low, he asks for the op, but he's not just going to straight up bog down it. He's going to add another layer to that. He's telling his teammates, look, come trade me, I'll go in first, but he's still still gets the kill anyway. So I really like the proactiveness, the aggression, and the discipline. And all three of these things mixed together, it just produces a dangerous Borup and a dangerous heroic.
Dangerous Borup. Now that is a combination of words that sounds pretty damn cool. Great job, Christine. Thank you very much for wrapping that one up. Now, more importantly, though, we are going to be taking a look at what is coming up next on our slate. As you can see, G2 taking on North. And guess what? Today is a day of stand-ins, so we might want to load up that track. There it goes. That's the one I'm looking for. And go to a break. We'll be right back, everybody, with some more DreamHack Master Spring 2020 when we return.